Joy, peace, tranquility, vibrancy, and wellness. Isn't this what you want instead of constant stress? That's what host Rochelle Lawson is going to help you with on Blissful Living. There are many ways to reduce stress, some you may not even know about. Doesn't a little peace and tranquility sound like just what you've been looking for? Relax for a few minutes with Rochelle. She's the queen of feeling fabulous.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Blissful Living. This is the queen of feeling fabulous, Rochelle Marie Lawson, with another fabulous show to help you live blissfully as you travel down your path to bliss. We have two phenomenal guests with us today, but before I pique your curiosity about our guests, I just want to thank our sponsor, the Health, Healing, and Wellness Company, actually known now as Blissful Living for You. You can check them out online at Blissful Living, the number 4 and the letter U.com. They have some wonderful things coming up to help you with your spring detox and getting your body right for the summer weather or any type of weather for that matter. And really to help you just be in the right mindset so as you travel down your path to bliss, no matter what comes up for you, you're able to move through it successfully with ease and grace. So check out blissfullivingforyou.com. The other sponsor is All Day Cable Incorporated, and they are a telecommunications installation company located in the heart of Silicon Valley. They have been in business since 1989 and have survived every peak and valley of our business cycle for the last 30 years, whether it was the dot-com bust, the real estate bust, just the economic bust in general. They're still around and they're still serving their customers and installing that network distribution system like only they can do. And in today's marketplace, our telecommunications is very important. That's how the majority of us do business. And if your connections aren't made right the first time, that could cost you thousands and thousands of dollars. So if you're looking for a company that can get you the network distribution or voice data, fiber optic, wireless system, speaker system, audio, video system that helps you to make the connection right the first time, you want to check out All Day Cable Inc. at alldaycableinc.com. So let's talk about our guest today. I did mention we have two, and as you know, I like to give this disclaimer. Now is the perfect time to pull up a chair, find your favorite place to sit, grab something to write with, a piece of paper, pencil, pen. Get your favorite beverage, whether it's a cup of tea, coffee, water, juice, lemonade, whatever. Get your favorite beverage and be prepared to allow us here on Blissful Living to enhance and open up your mind so that you can basically absorb the wonderful information that the guest is going to share with us today. And so let me tell you about our guest. Our first guest is C like cat, B like boy, C.B. Hoffmann, and she's a native Floridian with a BA in psychology from the University of Florida. And she has a master's degree in English language arts from the University of Central Florida. Now, after retiring from 29 years of teaching English and psychology in Orlando's public school system, she has a new career as an author, audiobook recorder, and a public speaker. And she resides with her husband in Oviedo, with her two sons, Dan, a graphic designer, photographer, and international travel blogger, and Mark, a computer science graduate and IT type of dude. Now, their faith is a driving force behind the major themes in CB's books, okay? And she has self-published 6 ebooks, 3 audiobooks, and a short film about a fashion designer who was blackmailed into being an assassin. That's wow. Now, that's CB. Now, let me tell you about Dan. Dan Hoffmann is a partner and motivator in the in the mother-son do-it-yourself publishing company, C.B. Hoffman, LLC. Guess who his mom is? Since 2000, Dan has worked as a graphic designer, web designer, and developer, photographer, videographer, director, video editor, public speaker, on-air personality, and motivator, in addition to being the content editor and advisor for CB Books. His 19 years of experience and degrees in graphic design from Parsons, the New School for Design in New York City, Bachelor in Marketing from the University of Central Florida, and certificates in web design and development from Noble Desktop in New York City provide the foundation for his creative strategic project approach. Now, Dan has a drive to explore any creative medium with unbridled optimism and translates innovative concepts, strategies, and processes into superb deliveries. Now, deliveries. Oh my gosh, Dan, I just made you an obstetrician.
Maybe that's next.
Into superb deliverables. This has been so funny. So I would like to warmly welcome my two fabulous guests, CB and Dan Hoffmann, to Blissful Living. Welcome to the show, you two.
Thank you,
This is so cool.
Wow.
I have never, I don't think ever had a mother-son or mother-daughter or father-son, or never had a combination like that of two phenomenal people from the same family on the show. So welcome. This is a first for Blissful Living. So woo-hoo! I wish I had a real
breaking new ground.
Exactly. They did say I was a trendsetter. I just thought that was just in my own mind. But so tell me, you two. Let's start with CB. So, you were a teacher for a little while, and he basically taught one of my two favorite subjects, or a couple of my favorite subjects, English and psychology. I loved English as a kid. That's when they still called it English. I think today, or when my kids were in school, it was called language arts or something like that. But in my world, it's English. I loved it. And apparently I was really good and excelled at it. I got straight A's in it, but I really liked it. And it helped me I'm thinking all the English classes I took from, the stuff I did in high school, which was all college English, and then the college stuff I did, which was whatever, just helped me to formulate my writing skills and my grasp of the English language appropriately, so that I could go out and just, really represent and present myself in a very professional and educated manner. And then psychology, me being a nurse practitioner, well, my nursing degree, there was lots of psychology in school, as well as in my discipline, which is emergency room trauma nursing, and lots of psychology used in that as well. So two of my favorite things. But what I want to ask you is, what led you into wanting to become an author after you have that wonderful experience and many years of teaching to students? What led you to wanted to become an author?
Well, believe it or not, I've wanted to write since I was in second grade, so I never lost that desire. Even while I was teaching, I was writing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. So did you do any writing when you were teaching, or did you just strictly, you may dibble and dabble in it, but did you actually have any projects going on that, are sitting around that you want to complete?
My very first book, I wrote for the whole time I taught for almost 30 years. And during that time, whenever I got a chance, I would write different versions of the very first book. I must have started it 14 times before I found, before I found what I liked. And I always
before I started telling her what we liked.
Yeah, right.
Oh.
And And I always included as many writing projects for students as I possibly could, creative ones, advertising projects, whatever I could come up with that was in line with what was being taught in the curriculum at that moment.
Wow. Like I said, one of my favorite classes, and particularly, I think I really developed a love for English in high school. I had a teacher, bless her heart, I'm sure I've been out of high school for a minute, but for longer than you've been retired. But
come on.
I mean, for longer than you've taught, right?
Oh, okay.
But this teacher was. She was just a wonderful lady, like Mrs. Hoffacker. I think her name was Mrs. Hoffacker. She was just a wonderful lady and really opened my world to the world of writing and reading. I was always an avid reader, but she, the books that we were reading was something that people from my neck of the woods would have never, read or anything like that. It really opened up a whole new world for me. And to this day, I'm still an avid reader. I love reading. And I also love writing. And it's just pretty cool to see that, to be talking to someone that actually, taught a subject that I really, really loved. And so it's cool that you've opened yourself up to this whole new pathway of putting what was in your head all those years down on paper and into books so that we could all enjoy them.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's very, very cool.
Yeah, well, let me say your English sounds great. I mean, I'm an English teacher's son, not an English teacher, but I can tell that you're conjugating your adverbs correctly. And tell what else? I haven't heard her make a grammatical error yet.
So the kind of past retired English teacher, nor was I when I was teaching. I'm not the kind that listens to everything you say and then corrects everything, because I like to be able to connect with you in a natural manner and not be afraid of speaking in front of you. I made a big mistake recently. We went to a Toastmasters for the very first time, and I made the mistake when I was introducing myself of saying that I just retired from teaching English, and oh my gosh, I wish I had never told them that.
Oh my goodness.
From that point on, they were paying attention to everything I said, make sure that everything I said was accurate and grammatically correct, and it was driving me crazy. I couldn't relax, So I wish I hadn't said that. Yeah.
Wow. It's kind of like when I'm somewhere and I'm not in the clinical setting anymore, but when I'm somewhere and if someone is there and they know I'm a nurse and something happens, well, guess what? Yeah, the nurse turns into
you.
Yes, exactly. And sometimes you just want to be like incognito, right? You just,
right. Right.
But,
I actually got CPR certified, and I was one of two guys on our floor that got it, and I was like, oh, Lord, please don't let anybody have a problem. I really don't want to have to go over there and help out.
Exactly.
I would have, but I'm really, really glad when I was taking the class, the guy said that, the guy that teaches the class said he always keeps his kit on with him. He said one time on a train, like on a subway train, he, like a homeless guy fell over and he just got down and started doing the CPR and like saved the guy's life.
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
See, that's funny because it's like those people, I never carried a kit. Wait, let me rephrase that. When I first became an emergency room trauma nurse, like my first 6 months, I had a little kit in my car that, had gloves and, because I became a nurse right when they still didn't know what AIDS was. They hadn't discovered, it didn't have a name. It was just mysterious disease, right? So I would carry gloves in my car and face mask and certain little things. And then as an emergency room nurse, we always had these, I don't even know what the right word is, but I want to say barrier. So if we ever had to do CPR on someone, you put the, you had to do
that little thing you can put on the mouth and then you breathe through that.
Yeah, so you don't have to come in contact with the body fluid. Yeah, I forget what it's called too.
Like a little trumpet mouthpiece or something. Yeah.
Yes. And I would stop. I would stop at accidents because I actually lived about an hour or so away from where I worked. So it was a lot of freeway travel. So if I saw something, I would stop. Only if I was working in the daytime. I generally worked the night shift, but if I saw something, I would stop because me was like, I was gung ho and fresh, and I always thought if it was someone in my family or someone that I knew, and there was someone driving by that could have stopped and did something minor to save their lives, and they didn't, how bad would that be? And so that was always my thought. So lo and behold, catch me like, I want to say 2 years later, I didn't have the kid in my car anymore. I would still help out.
Yeah.
Huh? I would still help out if someone, but there was one time I was stuck on, I shouldn't say stuck. There was one time I was on the freeway and I was getting off, and my son was about 2, and I was getting off the freeway. It was pouring down rain in San Jose, and we're getting off the freeway, and there's this guy, right before you like the exit, right before he's like on the shoulder doing CPR on a lady. And I was like, oh my God, what the heck? So I stopped. I told my son, stay in the car, lock the door, don't open the door for anybody but mommy. And I went back and helped this guy. And we literally performed CPR on this lady for 20 minutes before the first responders and stuff was able to get down there. I'm sure she died, but it was like, I couldn't leave him out there, And there was another time I was on a train traveling from the Bay Area up to Oregon, and there was a call out for, emergency. Somebody had needed help. And then it was, at that time, elderly gentleman found unresponsive in the shower. Three of us responded, 2 nurses and a paramedic, and we performed CPR on this man for 2 hours. Because once you stop as a healthcare professional, you cannot stop. And we couldn't stop until we came into the next station. And then when we got to the next station, we're so tired. It was ridiculous. We got to the next station. The coroner was right there and said, oh, he's dead. And we could stop. So it's like, it was like, we knew he was dead. But once you start, you can't stop, right? So it's like, it's kind of like, so you being at this, event, Toastmasters, and you mentioned the word English teacher, and then all of a sudden everybody's paying attention to not only how they talk, but more on how you speak.
Yeah, but that's not life and death, so that's good.
No, yeah, exactly. But still, right? So now, Dan, tell me, how did you get into being intrigued or wanting to explore the publishing aspect of the book world?
It was a very roundabout way. So CB, I grew up and she was always like helping me write papers, not writing them, but helping. And she always had this book she was working on, and she was just working on it, and always teaching and grading papers in the evenings and working on this book whenever she had a chance. And so I had moved up to New York in 2005. That's actually when I started my career in graphic design. And so I remember like coming up with some really, really bad cover designs for her, not knowing if it's going to go anywhere. And I mean, I was like, graphic design year 1. I mean, if I showed you some of that stuff, I don't actually think I will share it with anybody. But so anyway, and she was just always working on it. And so, every year she would submit it off to publishers, and they would always come back. It was very well written. There was no spelling or grammatical errors. It just doesn't meet our marketing needs at this time. And, we found out that less than 1% of first-time authors ever get published. It's like a band trying to get like a, major record deal. And then we found out even if you do get the record deal, you have to do all your own publicity and promotion and everything yourself. So anyway, so CB's like working on this book, and I move up to New York, and this was actually 5 years later, and I'd still been like coming up with really bad cover designs. And one day we were just chatting. I think I was almost done with school. I finished design school up in New York and starting to get a little bit more confidence. Have a few, like 3 years. I was working full time in New York under my belt, and while going to school. And then just said, hey, whatever happened with your book? Because I remember she had lined up a publisher, and then it was a small publisher, and the lady had some really devastating health news and had to sell the business, I guess, or fold it. What was the case?
She had been in remission with MS, and it came back.
Yeah.
And she was trying to sell her publishing business, and she couldn't find a buyer, so she had to release me from my contract, which made me very, very angry. And then I got hold of myself and said, hey, wait a minute. This woman has MS so badly that she has to sell her business. What are you doing being so selfish? So
CB was talking her on the over the phone, and I said, hey, whatever happened with your book? And she says, oh, it's done. And she explained about the publisher, and I was like, well, let me hear it. And she's like, what do you mean? And I was like, well, what does it say? And she's like, oh, I don't, you don't want me to, I don't want to read it, blah blah blah. And I was like, well, just the first sentence or the first paragraph. And CB goes, all right, let me go get it. And she comes over, and then she I do my best Don DeLillo voice, or Don LaFontaine, and she said, she was accustomed to coming here. She was an assassin embroiled in a sultry web of blackmail and deceit. The risks were burgeoning, jeopardizing her life, her career, her very soul, if she still had one. And I said, what? And just walked street, and I was like, you wrote that? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, well, read some more. And she read the first page, and then the whole first chapter, and I was like, man, CB, that's really awesome. And so I just started listening to it and being like, okay, and thinking like, all right, maybe I should give another crack at this cover design. And so I was just thinking, like, what would I do if this was like a paying client? What would I do?
Right.
I was always trying to find some stock photos or trying to come up with kind of budget, cover design. And I said, okay. Right. And so my vision was for the book was about a redhead, right? And and blackmailed into being an assassin. So I'm like, okay, redhead, girl with a gun, and so I'm just kind of thinking, what would I do? And so I just had this vision of a girl looking over her shoulder with a gun with a silencer, right next to her leg, kind of being hidden by her dress. And
like a female James Bond.
Exactly, like James Bourne. So I'm picturing, and I'm like, okay, how am I going to do this? And so, I had gotten a decent camera when I was in school and was learning about photography and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, who do I know that could maybe do this? And there was a friend from church, a friend of a friend, who did modeling and acting. And so I ran the idea by her, and she was down. I mean, we only had a couple $100 to pay her for the cover design. And
right.
So I was just thinking, okay, so I got the model, got a couple $100, and so just started running it by her, and she's like, oh, I think we could shoot in the courtyard, and so I'm like, okay, and so I started looking into how do you get a gun in New York City, and that's that's I was probably flagged by some investigators or something, but so
right.
You can't. And unless literally you have a movie production company and $1 million of liability insurance and a police officer on set, you can't do it. And so wow. I'm running all these by my head. So anyway, what I did was I just had her hold her hand like she was holding a gun. I actually had her hold an umbrella, and then I made a gun in Photoshop and actually put it in her hand. So so we went and we got the dress and photographed her, and so finally started getting this cover design that we liked. And, we were working toward publishing, and that was right about the time that the Kindle version 1 was coming out. I mean, this was pre-iPad, and so we were just thinking, okay, self-publishing. We started looking into that, and it was if you want to have 10,000 books printed, it's going to be, I don't know, $20,000 minimum, upwards of
right.
Someone in Hong Kong. But so it was just going to be a lot of money, and we're like, okay, and then how do we distribute it? How do we do all this? And so I was walking around, and I saw the ads in New York for the Kindle version 1, and I was like, okay, so somehow books get on this thing, and it was very expensive. And I just remember thinking, is that going to work? So we're just continue working and editing on the books, and then so the iPad version 1 comes out in time for Christmas, and I was like, oh man, okay. Looks cool, and then they were talking about how you can read books and stuff on it, and so I was like, okay, we got to figure out how to do these books. So I'm just walking around like on the phone with CB, editing the books with her. She'd be reading, and I'd be twisting her arm and giving her my feedback and interrupting her and talking to her every chance I get. But
oh no, he never talks over me. You're not getting that idea right now, are you?
Yeah. Wait.
Oh, that's too cute. That's too cute.
So to make a long story even longer, yeah.
So wait, okay. So Dan, when is your birthday? What month are you born?
July 31st, actually. It's funny. I've seen any of the Harry Potters, and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, it's Harry Potter's birthday." I'm like, maybe I'm a little too old.
You know what? Don't feel bad. I haven't. Okay. You guys listen, this is just a free for all, but we're way off. But I have never seen Harry Potter. I have never seen Game of Thrones.
Me neither.
Me neither.
People in New York on Monday mornings, they would need a conference room. I'd go to work and everyone would be like, oh my gosh. I'd be like, listen, you guys go get a conference room. I'll be out here doing some work. When you guys are done, come out. Well,
yeah. I mean, I'm just. It just people are like, you've never seen. I'm like, no, I've never been interested in Harry Potter, and it's always. Anyways, totally off track. Yeah. Okay, so I want to get.
No, I know what you mean. So I am a Leo, and so it's all about me. That's true.
Yeah, I know. And I'm your sister sign. I'm an Aquarius, and Leos and Aquariuses get along really well. So
cool.
I'm totally, I'm totally feeling your vibe.
Yeah.
Sorry, CB. When's your birthday? What month?
Well, rather not discuss that. It's coming up next. Yeah, it's next month.
You don't have to tell us the day or anything. We just want to know the month.
Yeah.
May.
Coming up.
Because you have Mother's Day, and then you get your birthday. It's almost like Christmas in May.
But hold on, let me tell the story. So anyway, I'm walking around New York, right? And I'm looking at the ads for the iPad, all this stuff, and I was like, okay, somehow the books get on there. And so I'm like, so then NYU, adult ed has this class, and it's called ebooks. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I call CB and got her credit card. I signed up for this class. And so we go in there, and it was more about for people in publishing to learn, kind of get on the cusp of ebooks back when they were first coming out. But I learned that the file, so it wasn't really technical. I was the only graphic designer in there. Everybody else worked for a major. And I was always like, hey, and they're like, no, we're good. But so anyway, so I found out that the file is called an EPUB. And then I was like, okay. And then I found out that you just need a page layout program to create an EPUB. And I was like, oh, well, I'm a graphic designer. And so I started looking into how do you create them. And actually, this place I took a couple of classes in New York, Noble Desktop. They actually have classes on how to create. Well, they used to on how to create books and stuff like that. So I just started learning about it. So I was like, why don't we make the book ourselves and we'll just distribute it digitally. So
now let me ask you guys. So with regards to you CB, you were writing these books just kind of like a hobby, and Dan was exploring graphic artists and graphic design stuff, and then CB, you come across this opportunity where your publisher is now has this illness that has resurfaced in her life and has what we say in the medical world exacerbated itself, and she can no longer go on with her company. And so you have this wonderful opportunity where you're dibbling and dabbling just with the writing and Dan's playing with the artistic part, and now you have this company that you have an opportunity to do your own stuff. How cool is that? I mean, sometimes we don't always see the blessings. You said you were really pissed with, but how cool is that? Because, that has brought you forward to where you are today with the publishing and the writing and stuff. So what happened with that first book? Did you ever publish that first book that Dan is telling us about?
There, not only that, but See, I called him the motivator. I guess you have picked up already on his personality and know that is a good term for Dan.
Right.
Yeah. When I finished the first book, he starts listening to it all, and then he says, "Oh, you can't say dark room. It's all digital now." I mean, he changed everything, so it's up to date, right? And when I got finished with that, I took a deep breath and thought, "Oh, good, I'm done." And he says, "Oh no, this is going to be a trilogy," and I was really, really surprised. Because, she dies in the first book, and I thought, how is this going to be a trilogy? So I'm not going to tell you how I worked that out, but we worked it out. And you, as a nurse, would love the second one. It's called Murder by Design, because it opens up with a very frantic scene in an ambulance, and I had a nurse who was living across the street who gave me advice, and it was just a lot of fun writing it. But
cool.
Yeah, online. Go ahead.
Go ahead, CB.
Okay. Dan designed our website, and online I have 6 ebooks now.
Oh, wow.
And then he told me that he wanted me to record them. And I thought he was crazy. But, I've always done voices when reading with students in the classroom and when I was reading with them when they were kids. And he thought I could do it.
Right,
so he put this extra pressure on me, and I learned how to record. And so we have the trilogy is on audible.com. And
wow. Okay, hold on 1 second, CB. We're going to take a quick little break here. We'll be back, you guys. Just one quick little break. We'll be right back. Hold tight.
Come on, y'all!
It's that time of year where the New Year's resolutions have fallen by the wayside, where the weather has begun to get nicer, and all those summer outfits are starting to appear in the magazine. Wouldn't it be nice if you could get your body right just in time for summer without having to deprive yourself by doing a crazy diet or exercising until you're exhausted? If you've given up or are just about to give up on your weight loss or fitness goals, hold on. Here's something that's easy to do. Will definitely help you drop a pound or two and will get your body looking right so that you feel and look fabulous, fit, and fine for the summertime. Check out the ultimate weight loss and weight management system at theufactor.biz. I know you might be thinking, I've tried all kinds of diet and exercise programs and nothing works. However, the ultimate weight loss and weight management system is not a diet, but a complete program that you can incorporate into your life and start seeing results immediately. In fact, once you get it, it's yours for life, so you never have to diet again. Check it out at theufactor.biz and then kick the door open to summer as you unleash that fabulous, fit, and fine body of yours. Go to theufactor.biz, spelled with a U, and pick up the ultimate weight loss and weight management system today.
Don't worry about it.
Okay, and we are back with Blissful Living. Our guests are CB and Dan Hoffmann, mother and son. So, CB, you were telling us about taking your books and not only creating ebooks, but creating the audiobooks. Now, what I want to ask you with regards to that was, how long did it take to create the first book in an audiobook?
A lot longer than anybody would believe. I was not only recording it, but having to edit it as I was recording it. And so I was learning a lot of new skills there, but I found out that I love recording books. I absolutely do. And it must have taken a month for me to record the first book.
A month? Hold on. Wait. Hold on. So what we had to do was we had to figure out what equipment we needed. So I cruised over to favorite electronics store in New York City, B&H, and I went in there and I was like, this is what we want to do, and they're like, okay, this is everything you need. So we bought it, we shipped it down, and so CB, we actually found a recording studio, and we had them bring everything over there and tell us how to plug it in, and so they could come back home and plug it in the studio, and
right.
A lot longer than that. You were at the Apple store.
No. Listen.
But the actual recording of the audio of the book itself.
Yeah, but you can really only do like an hour or two a day, Matt.
But see, Rochelle, listen. Mac computers, which we use, come with a program called GarageBand, and I learned how to record my books as doing voice. Not music, but voice on GarageBand. And so when I was, it's really great. I love it. And as I was having problems or whatever, I would go in to the Mac store and
daily.
No. And I'll get him. I'll get him later. Don't worry about that. Anyway, so yeah, they helped me tremendously. Learn how to do the editing and all of it, and set up GarageBand exactly according to the standards that Audible.com requires, and they are very picky.
And not as picky as me. Like, I think I must have made her redo the entire book at least twice.
That's why he thinks it took me more than a month.
Well,
okay, so
because he kept making me redo it.
Like years.
Right, you know that you write that paper and they mark it all up. You have a good draft, and that English teacher that marks it up in the red pen and then tells you to go rewrite it and rewrite it and turn it back in and then mark it up some more. Yeah. Okay.
And I would say send me, or like I would even just say read it over the phone to me, and I'd be like, no, do it again. Like I want like Don LaFontaine, you know what I mean? In a world.
Right.
And I said, people are going to listen to the first sentence and the first paragraph and decide if they want to listen to the whole book. So I mean, I must have made you redo the first paragraph like 100 times. I'm not kidding. She was about to give up. She kept saying, why didn't you do it? And I'm like, no, you're the author. It has to be your voice. And she's like,
yeah. And he says, oh yeah, and besides, that takes so long and
yeah, ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So now let me ask you, because I want to ask you guys now, you have this wonderful publishing company, and CB, writes these wonderful books, and, and you guys turn them into ebooks and also audiobooks. Now, with regards to the publishing company, do you guys offer those kind of services to your clients?
We don't have any clients.
No,
No, we're just brand new, and what we're doing is just wanting to share what we know and help anyone who's an aspiring author out there.
Yeah, we're taking everything that we know and creating like little how-to guides and stuff like that.
So, do you want clients?
Not at the moment, because this has been so long coming.
Dan, wait, whoa, Dan. Okay, let me ask it again.
Well,
would you like to have clients?
Honestly, I think the answer's got to be no for the foreseeable future, because, I mean, I'm literally working until 1:30 in the morning every day, and so this has been a passion project for so long, you know what I mean? And so finally, for the first time in my life, I have a chance to work on it. CB just retired. I mean, we're just getting going, and, so, like, I'm a partner in the company and, like, a shareholder, and I've got some skin in the game, and I just cannot see devoting so much passion and energy to somebody else's thing, you know what I mean? And, like, we've got 6 books. We've got 3 more to record as audiobooks, and I think CB and I could crank out 20 more books in the next 10 years. And
So I totally hear you, Dan. You're thinking inside the box. So I want you to think outside the box. So
hey, listen, if Tim Tebow contacted him, he'd totally be there.
Yeah.
Right? Well, that's what I'm saying. You don't know how many people are going to hear this, and there's a lot, right? So my thing is, if you could free yourself from quote unquote your 9 to 1:30 a.m. job, and replicate or reproduce your income by doing your own thing and fulfilling your own dreams with doing your passion of this, would that be something that would be intriguing to you?
I might consider that. I just this is the passion, and like I could actually see these becoming movies someday, and Ron Howard will be directing them, and I'll be watching over his shoulder, and Ryan Gosling will be playing me in the book.
Dream big, Rochelle.
Exactly.
But it's great to have those dreams, and the reason why I ask is because there's and excuse my French, but there's a shitload of people out there that would love to have a company like yours where okay, I'm a nurse, you guys, but I'm also a business person, right?
Yeah.
And so there are a ton of people out there that would love to have a company like yours, and I could see totally you putting a package together. They write the book, and then, there's the editing part that you guys do, and then the whole package of creating the ebook and then creating the audiobook. I can't tell you how many people would pay you thousands of dollars to have a suite that they could choose, whether they just wanted the ebook and the book, or whether they wanted the whole suite of the ebook, the audiobook, and the book editing, or if they just wanted the book. There's just a ton. I know about 20 people right now just off the top of my head.
All right. Well, how about this? After we're on Oprah, Ellen, and Steve Harvey, and
because then, see, you'll be too expensive, because then you won't be hungry, and then you'll be having other people under you work and do the people want you. The people that are listening to this, they're gonna want you. I'm just putting that out there.
That's exactly what I was picturing.
Nuggets of gold out there, because it's just, I just know so many people. Like I just know, and it's a good thing, and particularly if you're a public speaker. Yeah. Public speakers or anybody getting into public speaking, what gives them credibility, I would just say, and it could be a bunch of, excuse my language again, it could be a bunch of bullshit that they wrote, but they can go up on stage and talk about the bullshit, and it's going to give them credibility because they've written a book.
Yeah. Well, the problem is, it would have to be something that I am passionate about and that I have time for, and we would have to have gotten through, the bulk of our workload before I think I could even consider something like that.
But I have to interject here, Rochelle. Yeah. I have already begun putting all his advice and tips and instructions into a manual.
Well, our experiences, we went to the School of Hard Knocks, and we're recording all of it. So actually what we want to do is we want to create these little how-to guides on, kind of steps for starting to write and, for copywriting and looking for an idea.
We've got a do-it-yourself guide that we are putting together.
And we also want to, where do you start for cover design? Where do you start for photography? Where do you start for web design? And
how do you write?
This is a little package that you guys are going to put together and sell, right?
Well, so what we want to do is
eventually.
Yeah, we'll make it into a full book. But what I want to do is I want to be able to share some 1 or 2 page PDFs with some helpful links and some stuff like that. Just to share the wealth and to it's so much work. I mean, honestly, if I would have known how much work it was way back, in 2005 or in 2007 when we were starting on it, if I would have known it would have been this much work, I don't know if I would have done it. Honestly, it's funny because most businesses want to start out as a jack of all trades and then hone down and do one thing and do it well. Well, we started out just wanting to, have something happen with my mom's books, and now here we are. We do 50 different things, and they're all important and they're all due, and it's a
yes, and all of them have a main theme. Because this is important to us. It is repentance, forgiveness, and reconciliation.
Yeah. There's just so much nasty-ness going on in the world, and
in books.
Yeah, and we wanted to write something like a female Jason Bourne, but that doesn't leave you feeling like you got run over by a truck, or maybe like
right.
Some of the stuff I watch, you get done and you're like, ugh, that was interesting.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I mean, there's so much negativity in, one of the reasons I don't watch the news is because I don't want to fill my head with all that stuff day in, day out.
I don't watch it either.
Yeah.
Right. I may watch it for the traffic and the weather.
The weather.
They're always wrong on the traffic. They're always behind on the traffic, and the weather is never correct. So that's, I think those are the weather. I could be a weather reporter because you don't have to be right, and you still get to keep your job.
Yeah, just watch the traffic, and then just tune into Blissful Living for you, and that's all you need, right?
Exactly. But also, I just know that with regards to like the movies and stuff out today, I'm sorry, I'm old school. I like classic movies. I do love murder mysteries. That is my favorite. But I like old. I'm like, I could watch Columbo and Matlock and, all
that's
those,
all CB stuff,
all that stuff. Or like, old Cary Grant movies or, I really like old classic movies. And so I think that the acting today is, let me say, they can't touch the actors back in the day. Okay. Back then you had to sing, dance, everything, act. You had to be, today you just have to be pretty and have a big booty or something. And you know what I mean? It's just like,
that's right,
and you make a ton of money. Exactly.
Well, and one of the things we love about like CB's books is there's no cussing, there's no sex, there's no drugs.
They love it,
and like that stuff sells. But I feel like, and CB I know feels like we've talked about it, that can be a crutch. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the stuff I watch on, well, I don't want to like throw Netflix under the bus, but a lot of the stuff I watch, I
love Netflix.
Every other word is like a cuss word, and you're like, did they run out of words?
Right.
Well, listen, I made my mind up a long time ago that I would never write anything that I would be ashamed for one of my former students to read. And I had taught over 4,000 kids, and I'm not going to have them say, "Wow, Miss Hoffman, you talk the talk, walk the walk."
For me, I think it'd be really awkward if there were any scenes that were overly romantic that I was helping her edit. I just don't know how that would work.
That would be very uncomfortable. But I have romance in the book.
Yes.
I have real relationships, though.
Yeah.
I don't, it's not, it's a good thing to marry your best friend. You have to have a real relationship for when the butterflies wear off.
Right. That's so true. It's got to be more than just the fluff on the outside, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And with CB's books, it's almost like you feel like you're getting a little bit smarter. Like the level of English is at a pretty good level. I would say it's high to quite high, but not overly high. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think that audiobooks is a really good format for them because you can kind of just listen to it and follow along and be like, whoa, that was okay, cool. I know what's going on, but wow, that was a really well written sentence.
Right.
I want to say one thing, Rochelle.
Yeah.
When I was teaching, I would never mark up a paper with red ink. And that's because I was so offended by teachers when I was a student. And, it was like they were screaming at you with that red ink. So I would do that, and believe it or not, I use pencil. I always use.
Well, you know what? I think it's true because the red ink just shouted at and I had this professor in nursing school. Oh my God! Granted, he was a great writer, and we learned the APA format like back in and out.
That's tough.
However, you would hand him a paper, something you did research, whatever, and he'd come back, and if you didn't have that much red ink on it, you did real well. But he would just mark up the paper. Okay, so in one aspect, you see your mistakes more vividly, but in the other aspect, it's like all you see is the red, and so you see some people visualize that it's all they see is failure, right? Now I had to use the color green, right, or blue or orange,
right?
Or, some other color other than red. It might be more absorbed by the student, but anyways, it's just funny. Okay, so So now, CB, when will your book be coming out? I mean, have you published them already? Are they available for purchase?
All my books are online. Yeah, they're on Amazon. They're on Barnes & Noble. They're on iTunes.
Yeah, the big three.
Yeah, they are.
And so the best way to find them, I'm so glad that you asked, Rochelle, if you were to go to CB Hoffmann, that's HOFFMANN.com, and all the books are available on there. You can even listen to a little audio sample. We even have, I think I need to update them, but we have some sample PDFs of each book up there, some little animated GIFs. If you go there, you'll see how obsessed I am with animated GIFs. But so they're all up there, and links to the audiobooks and to everything else. And the best part about the ebooks, they're only 99 cents. We don't want someone to say, I would buy it, but we
want to make them affordable.
It's less than coffee, so yeah.
You guys are just so sweet. I mean, here you could be.
We actually have our hands around each other's throats right now.
Right.
I know. CB's she's got her foot on your neck, and you're standing. I know it because she's the mom, and as moms we can do that, right?
When you took the break, she threatened to splash water on me, but it's like, don't get it on the mic.
But she's a mom.
Rochelle,
don't you do that?
Yeah.
Dan is the boss man. Oh yeah, he's
I'm
boss
sure. Man. I detect a little bit of lion coming out at times.
Yes.
But, I think that's one of the hardest parts about being a creative professional is the business side. Everybody wants to write. Everybody, and myself, this is my least favorite part too. Is okay, what do we have to do, and then how do we do it? And figuring out how to be able to talk on the studio mic and headphones over the phone, and luckily my brother's in tech and he can help with some stuff. But it's there's just so much to do. You just start looking around and you look at the competition and you're like, oh my gosh, we're competing with that and that and that, and but I feel really strongly about the content of the books. And I think it's funny, in any medium, whether it's Instagram or anywhere on social line, any book, any movie, content is king. You know what I mean? And sometimes you can even have a really, really great script and bad talent, or really great talent and a bad script. And
a bad script, right.
That was full of people, but there just was no substance to it. So
you know what? Right. That reminds me, when you go to our website, and don't forget 2 F's and 2 N's in Hoffmann, CB Hoffmann.
Say that again. Spell it out. Okay, you guys, pay attention. If you want to get some information, CB's going to give her how you can connect with her.
Yeah.
It's C and B as in boy, Hoffmann, HOFFMANN.com. Now, here's something really neat. Dan did some animated GIF book covers on the website. I mean, bullet holes appearing in a dress form and then disappearing.
Oh, wow.
And Alexis Sylvan, the main character, is shooting at you, and you're seeing the blast out of the gun point blank. It's just really interesting. But what I wanted to tell you is scroll all the way down to the bottom and click on iTunes, because he had us make a film clip of the very...
No, you have to click on YouTube in the footer.
Oh, yeah, YouTube, and down at the bottom. Film clip of the very first action scene in the first chapter. And we even got...
wow.
Yeah, and he even got one of his state trooper buddies.
Yeah. Oh. He's no longer a state trooper, so I guess it's okay.
I guess it's okay to tell you.
Yeah.
Right.
Probably was not involved in law enforcement. How about that?
Yeah, well, we had
He's an actor.
We had some good acting.
Yeah, 2 people, my wife and a friend.
Yeah.
And he looked the part. How about that?
Oh, he scared the jeepers out of me.
It was cool. It was really cool. It was, man, that was a challenge. We had literally, we had begged the church to let us film the opening scene in there, and they agreed to an hour, and it took us an hour and a half. We had 1 camera, no real, one light, a couple of people. It's pretty much how we do everything is just like trial by fire, like learn on.
Well, it's funny. I'm on that site right now, and I'm checking it out, and I like it. It's actually really cool. I'm like, I like how the bullets come, and then she's already shot. She's already fired a shot at me. She missed.
I hope that's not offensive.
But she did. She fired a shot at me, and it's cool. It's really cool. You guys out there listening, you have to go check out the site, and
cool.
you just checking it out. You're like, I got to read the book, and basically what they told us about the book is it's really intriguing. Definitely something that fits my type of reading, and what I like to take when I have my Calgon moment. I know CB can remember it. Calgon, take me away. Is what I like to do is just indulge in reading books. So this is really, really cool. Now, I want to ask, Dan, are you the older of the two boys?
Yes.
And how many years apart are you and your brother?
Just two. My younger brother, Mark, he's a cool cat. It's funny that I don't know how I got on this idea, but so CB writes all of her friends and family members into the book. So,
really?
So there's the two reporters in the book are Daniel Gother and Mark Truman, and and then John Meredith. My dad's name is John. He's a police chief in there, and pretty much if you're a family friend or a member, somebody is based on you. Loosely.
Well, the next book you do, if there's a nurse in there, it's got to be Rochelle Marie.
Oh, cool.
I'm writing it down.
We can't use your last name, but we could do Rochelle.
Well, Marie is your middle name.
Yeah.
No, actually, my first name is Rochelle Marie, and then I have a middle name, and then my last name is Lawson. So Rochelle Marie could be the first name. Very intriguing of the nurse that.
Wow.
Is it one word, Rochelle Marie?
No, it's two, and it's actually it's Rochel, like Rochelle, the French. Although my dad was Sicilian, but and then Marie. My mom's name is Rose Marie, and so I guess she just who knows what they I'm a child of the 60s,
I worked with
a
girl who was Colombian, and she hated, so she always went by her first name and her first middle name. And if you didn't use both of them, she was like really, really upset. And so she would honestly, like most of the time, she would just tell people her name was like the one word, so that they, they didn't just call her by her first name.
Well, I know when I say, Rochelle Marie, people think, hi, and I'm like, no, my first name is Rochelle Marie, and they're like,
so Miss Marie,
sorry.
And you're like, no,
because you don't know any Rochelle Maries. Like you hear Rose Marie or Rosemary, right?
Right.
But you don't hear, Rochelle. Yeah.
Well,
anyways, I'm totally off track. But I just thought I would drop that in your mind.
In the 30 years that I taught, I never had a Rochelle Marie.
Wow.
Never.
See?
And you know what's funny? Like our last name, just having that second N on there, it just makes you so much aware of other people's names. And no, we're not really. But, if he wanted a part in a movie, just give us a call. I'm sure we can work that out.
Okay, sure. Yeah. Of course.
But you're going to be surprised. When you appear in a book, I will contact you and tell you about it.
Yes. I'll be like, oh
because
my God.
I know which book, too. I have one called Royal Conspiracies.
Ooh.
It's about a slave girl who is actually a princess and doesn't know it. And she gets kidnapped and whisked away. I mean, there's a whole story there, but I have to write a sequel to that, and Rochelle Marie would work in very well.
Oh, I like it. You guys are so cute.
It's 14th century Spain.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that would work.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That would work. I went to Spain, southern Spain, at the end of November, and it was great. So, I can just, my mind is going like 100 miles an hour. So let me get back, stay focused.
I think we all need to expense a trip over there for research.
Yeah, I think so, for research. Let me get on that.
Right.
If I could get us a corporate sponsor, talk to the good old boys at United Airlines or someone, and,
but I
Hilton
I do have to know something, Rochelle. Rochelle Marie. I have to know, do you want to be a villain, victim, or hero?
Oh, I want to be a hero.
Hero. Okay.
Villain is hero.
Right.
I want to be a hero. Yeah.
Okay, I got it.
I'm a caretaker person. I mean, I have my fierce tenacity. Definitely. You know, but I really am a caretaker type of person, and I like you know, obviously that's why I became a nurse, I guess. But I like taking care of people, and I like helping people to see within themselves the hero within themselves that sometimes people can't see. I like to bring that out and share that with them and give them that whole new awakening as they step forward. So, yeah, I want to be a hero.
The biggest question is, who do you want to play you in the movie?
Beyonce.
Okay.
Did you hear that?
All right, done.
Beyonce.
Done.
Definitely Beyonce. Oh, let me see.
My dad is our
Beyonce.
I'm gonna have to get her on the line.
Call your people to call her people.
There you go.
And, but Beyonce would be definitely.
Perfect.
All right. But I think Beyonce's a better actor. Anyways, I'm so sorry, you guys. This has been so much fun. Okay, so one more time, Dan and CB, please share with the listeners out there, you know, how they can get a hold of CB's book, and then, you know, how they can get, you know, if CB is speaking, either of you speaking anywhere, you know, please drop the goods for our listeners right now.
Okay. Well, so I'll talk CB. So the website is cbhoffmann, HOFFMANN.com. And then on there, like, you scroll down and you'll see all sorts of images of Alexa shooting the gun at you, or bullet holes appearing, or, you know, anything like that. And so for each one of those headers is a book. And so for each one of them, there's like an audio sample, there's a sample PDF that you can download. And then if you click on purchase, it opens like a little pop-up window, and it'll take you either to iTunes, Barnes & Noble, or Amazon. And so whatever your preferred platform is, and then there's a link to Audible. So we don't actually take any of the money. It's just downloaded as you would a normal ebook or audiobook.
Right.
And
Yeah, it all goes to Amazon and iTunes.
Yeah,
wow.
We get 30%. Yeah.
30%.
You guys,
99
cents. I need to talk to you guys offline, because you could be making just a ton of money, and really, you know, really little or no effort at all. It could just be all automated. Anyways, we'll talk offline. But
wouldn't that be great?
There you have it, you guys. CB and Dan Hoffmann. It's been a fabulous show. It's been so fun. I want to thank you two for taking time out of your busy day to spend it with us and just have us laugh and smile and really become, you know, engaged in your world. It's super cool. I love it. And I love that your mom and a son and you guys are just so funny. You're just very cute. So thank you so much. So much.
Please.
Oh, good. We enjoyed you too, Rochelle. We did.
Sure you get a copy of them.
Thank you. And I want to thank the listeners, of course, because without you all, it wouldn't be possible to bring phenomenal guests like CB and Dan to you, to just have us have a little bit of time for ourselves where we could just step out of our hectic lives and spend some time with ourselves, laughing and learning and just engaging in what the true essence of life is all about. Mm-hmm. So thank you, listeners. And I want to thank the sponsors, of course, Blissful Living for You, at Blissful Living, the number 4 and the letter U.com, as well as All Day Cable Inc. For sponsoring the show. And, of course, this is a part I always love to hate, but it's been a pleasure. And as I like to say, I'm wishing you peace in your mind. Well,
you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to surprise you somewhere. It'll be like at a movie, and I'm going to, like, fall down, and CB's going to be like, is there a nurse practitioner in the house? and then we're going to know where you're sitting. I'm going to fall down right next to you, and you're going to be like, oh, no, he didn't. And I'm going to be like, hey.
Exactly. I'll be like, oh, no, he didn't. I know he didn't just fall down. You know what? I'm going to be like, honey, let's go out the other side. I know I wouldn't
And you're like, can I get a refund on this movie?
I can just see. I'll be like, Dan Hoffmann, is that you? You gave it away. You gave it away. I know it's you.
I'll be like, I know you got 2 free hours. You haven't read the book yet.
Okay, wait. Okay, so everyone, I'm wishing you peace to your mind, wellness to your body, and tranquility to your spirit. Until next time, this is the Queen of Feeling Fabulous saying goodbye for now, everybody.
You can find out more about Rochelle on her website, Rochelle Lawson, Rochele Lawson, Lawson, or at healthhealingwellness.com. Or just click on her websites from the webtalkradio.net page right in front of you. And of course, you'll want to come right back here next week for another episode of Blissful Living. Thanks for joining us.